Oh, shoot. Hi, folks. This is James O'Keefe. I'm here with Malt, and we're from the Massachusetts Pirate Party. And today we're going to talk about the new ECASH Act that Representatives Lynch and Presley uh, and others have gone and put forward as a way of having the government have some cash, digital cash alternative. So we want to thank you for watching. Just so you know, the beginning of May is the last time for people to get their signatures in if they want to run for state representative or state senator. If you want, or other state offices, if you want to run for U.S. House of Representatives, you have many more months to do that as a pirate, not as a Democrat or Republican or Green or anything with ballot status. And of course, if your town, but not city elections would be next year. But if your town is having elections, check with your town clerk about what you need to do to get on the ballot. And we certainly recommend any pirate go and run for elected town meeting. Steve, we have various videos of Steve Revelak talking about what you can accomplish as a pirate in elected town meeting. And if you have open town meeting, just find it when they are and show up, because you have the right to participate as a as a resident of that town. So with that, how have you been, Mo?
I've got no complaints. The weather's doing great. A bunch of my seeds just sprouted. I'm very excited. Gonna get a decent garden going. And once again, I have lost $0 to crypto and NFT scams. That is an unbroken 36-year record.
Very good for you. I'm so happy.
Thank you. Did I tell you what happened with the Bad Ape Yacht Club coin drop?
Have they closed up? I don't know. I haven't been paying much attention to it. Ukraine is kind of far more in my consciousness.
Yeah, this happened a few weeks back, but the Bored Ape Yacht Club released a cryptocurrency, and they gave out a certain allotment of coins to everyone that had one of their ugly, ugly, ugly cartoons. But the problem was that not everyone knew it was happening. So a bunch of people had apes locked up in this third party lending platform. So someone was able to go and leverage all of those apes to buy them, claim the coins, and then paid off the leverage. And in the process, netted, it was a multiple of millions of dollars.
Wow. I mean, I hadn't heard that. That's well, software has bugs, and if someone can exploit the bug in your contract, then
The
your
thing is,
contract is null and void, I guess.
but it doesn't, I don't even know if it counts as a bug, because at no point did they exploit or lie or cheat or steal. They played the game according to the rules. And so, like, that's kind of why, one reason why I'm skeptical about this eCash Act.
Yeah. So, do you want to give us a brief overview? I know you were looking it over.
Yeah, so this is a handful of Democrats are actually behind this, including Representative Lynch from the Massachusetts House. Effectively, it's going to create a an electronic cash system. I haven't read through the full bill, but it refers to a class of physical devices called ECASH devices, which I'm assuming is going to look kind of like a pager, because this is the United States government we're talking about. And, if it's not a plane, they don't really put a lot of effort into the design. But anyway, the it's got some pretty interesting caveats. It's the privacy rights are very much coded front and center. It's supposed to be as like anonymous as cash. Um and like that's nice. Yeah, privacy. The Secretary shall require that any hardware device authorized to hold or otherwise facilitate transactions involving eCash shall be secured locally via cryptographic encryption and other appropriate technologies, and shall not contain or be subject to any surveillance, personal identification, or transactional data gathering, or censorship enabling backdoor features. Now that's exciting. But at the same time, a few paragraphs later, it says that it has the same restrictions as cash on things like facilitating terrorism or having to identify individuals for certain types of transactions. So I'm not sure how that's going to work. It also says that it's supposed to be able to work offline and peer to peer. And again, I'm not really sure how that's going to work.
Yeah, I mean, so if you had some card or something, if it's going to work offline, it's going to have to keep track of the amount that you have in that card so that it can then go and say, oh, I want, I have $100 in that card, and I'm going to buy this thing and deduct $10 from that. And then at some later point, reconcile when they connect to the network, I guess, reconcile those two things. But I mean, I feel like those cards are going to be hacked.
Yeah, this is so you mentioned that there's a portion of the bill claiming that everything has to be released open source unless it's going to present a security hazard. And like it strikes me that that's the part of the code you really want to look at the most.
Yeah, I mean the section, what is it? It's the transparency section, talking about how they should be released. Anything. So literally, it's the secretary shall seek out and prioritize wherever practically feasible the use of hardware and software technologies issued under open source licenses, and shall further require that all publicly funded research and technology be released under a suitable open source license and made available for study and review by the scientific community and the general public, except to the extent that doing so would undermine or impair the security and integrity of eCash devices or incidents. So I can easily see that someone's going to claim, oh no, we have super special cryptographic graphic algorithms that we created ourselves, and we don't want to give those things out, which, as I've said in trainings, never reinvent the wheel. We have cryptographic libraries that you can use that work. Don't roll your own. And if the government's going to hire, Raytheon or any number of other companies to go and roll their own and then keep it hidden, that's just a recipe for getting hacked.
It's going to be the same company that was making those fake homeopathic bomb detectors in Iraq. Like, hand to God, this thing is going to be...
What? Wait, say that again?
Oh, you didn't know about this?
No, I didn't know about this.
The phony bomb detectors.
Oh, I thought you said homeopathic.
Yeah, they're homeopathic. They're like, they basically dowsing rods.
Oh, God.
Like, I think how it was supposed to work is you were supposed to put a tiny sample of what you were looking for on the end of one rod in the handle itself and then wave it around. But
so,
yeah.
Did they need druids or something? Was that part of the... that would be that could be a nice little labor job there, I guess. So they do talk about fees. That the government may charge reasonable prices when selling eCash compatible hardware, henceforth eCash devices, directly to the public, provided such prices are proportionate to and not unduly in excess of actual production and administrative costs, but may in no instance impose fees or other charges for holding, receiving, sending, or otherwise transacting with eCash balances using such devices. Which I know before we were talking about if this relied on your phone. Now you're going to have to, your entry fee to use eCash would be 100, 200, 300, how much your phone is. So at least this theoretically will be cheaper, but you still, we're talking about if you're homeless, where are you going to get the money for this? Are they just going to give it out?
Like, no, my battery ran out on my wallet.
Yeah, that's another good point. Now you've got to go. Do you charge it? Do you have to have AAA batteries? Do you, or the little tiny watch batteries or stuff? Then you
What
got to go
about,
replace those.
we used to have solar powered calculators.
Yeah, I think they still give those out now.
Like, I would be terrified of what Texas Instruments would do if they had to create the ECASH wallet. Like, they would release one, that thing would not change for 30 years.
Well, I mean, it shouldn't necessarily change for 30 years. Although, it's software, so you're going to have to up. That's if they have to update the software. How do they update the software? How do you make sure everyone gets it and you don't have people that have buggy software?
I'm shocked that a 28-page document is not answering all of our extremely detailed technical questions, especially when neither of us have actually read it.
Completely.
Come on, the Representative Lynch.
Fair point. Fair point. But I mean, these are some of the things that we're going to have to worry about. Mm-hmm. I mean, we certainly, people have civil asset forfeiture issues. So if someone goes and has a briefcase of cash, for example, that they may have, they withdrew it from one account and rather than do a money order, they want the cash or whatever. There are legitimate uses for cash, and they transport it across state lines. Theoretically, someone could just stop them, say that they smelled marijuana, and just take that money as was used in a drug crime, and then now someone has to go and sue to get that money back. I guess with the wallet, hopefully they won't kind of wave a little wand over your wallet and be like, oh, you have $10,000 in that wallet. Give that wallet to me. Right?
Like, that is, like, I'm trying to imagine why they're doing this rather than just telling the US banking system to allow account-to-account transfers. Like, that's how it works in most of the rest of the world. And I don't see how this is any easier at all. Like, I don't believe that the advantages are actually going to be there. I don't think it's going to be, they're not going to manage to make it offline, peer-to-peer, blah, 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 and also totally anonymous.
And secure and
yeah.
one.
So I noticed something interesting later on when it talks about setting the thing up itself. Mm-hmm. Phase 1 of the pilot program shall consist of not less than 3 distinct pilots, each of which shall launch no later than 180 days after the date of enactment of this act. So, like, they're going to hit the ground running pretty quick with this. That field test pilots are going to happen no later than 2 years after the enactment of this act. So, like, this is going to be... it's supposed to be compatible with the US debit card and digital pay programs.
So then it's a debit card, which relies on the existing network and is not peer-to-peer and is not offline.
Like, like, there's some interesting thought put into this on the social goods aspect, but man, good luck to whoever they get to program this. Like, thoughts and prayers, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like half a year to come up with the software for a pilot. I mean, how many years did they have for the healthcare exchanges, and they still screwed that up.
Oh God. Yeah, that is a good point. I hadn't even thought about that. Yeah,
And then I
wow.
guess what happens. So that's another. I'm curious if they decide not to go forward with this, and people have money in these cards, then I guess they'll have to cash out the money or something.
I don't know. My new question is, what company has been worm tonguing their way into whose ear about digital secure wallets? Like, I really want to know who ends up building this tech, because I wouldn't be surprised if it's like a company trying to exit the crypto space, like a crypto card maker or a crypto wallet maker trying to find a more stable supply of future cash.
Well, I know recently there was an effort or there was a letter, I think, by various Congress people and maybe senators. Uh, and I know there was. I remember one of the persons is from Massachusetts, but I'm not absolutely sure of the individual, so I'm not going to go and say who that person is. But they were saying, well, hey, Treasury or SEC, you just shouldn't regulate cryptocurrencies.
Yeah, that guy. Fuck him.
Yeah. I mean, I would have
I
thought
saw
that
that.
we would have learned from the 2008 financial crisis and the way AEG went under because we improperly regulated an insurance business that they did not have enough money to cover all their freaking bets. So
Yeah, that's some naked money chasing. Like, we should. I gotta wonder how many apes that dude lost to a Discord server hack. You utter chumps. I'm fired up. I'm deeply passionate about the dumbest shit. You know what? You know what? As bad as this all is, I really want hipsters to come back. Like lumberjack shirts, huge beards, IPAs. It was bad back then, but it wasn't this bad.
wasn't that when we had invaded Iraq? So maybe it depends on where you are.
Okay. All right. So it's just there's a constant level of bad, and it just fluctuates from country to country. My mouth is very wet. Gross. That noise was sponsored by Hermit Thrush Brewery from Brattleboro, Vermont. Brattleboro, the anus of Vermont. Hey! Perfect timing!
Yes, I exist.
Welcome, Joe.
Yeah, totally my fault. Had a friend that was having an existential crisis, and I completely lost track of time.
Well, that sounds more important than this.
Definitely be
Yes and
careful
no.
about how much you tell us about that existential crisis. We are live on air.
Yeah.
I mean, he's in that transitional mode between careers, and you know how that goes.
Yeah, Falling Down with Kirk Douglas.
Oh God, that was such a great movie. Such a great movie, and it was such a great portrayal of a real life scenario, I should say.
Oh yeah, that was based on a true thing, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yikes. Anyway, have you had a chance to read Representative Lynch's ECASH Act yet?
I have not.
Okay. We'll wait for you to finish. No, I'm kidding. So Joe, what are your thoughts on cryptocurrencies?
I generally personally avoid cryptocurrencies, just because it, to me, has always seemed like another cash money scheme. And so I, being the industrious person that I am, invest into real tangible things like my ability to build things.
Nice.
So I've always been an industrialist. I've always built, I have always invested in my capacity to do more stuff and to be more of an asset to the world. So, for example, I invest in the training in myself. Like, say, for example, getting a pilot's license, getting my A-class license, getting my ham radio license, buying tools, buying the ability to make whatever I want, 3D printers, etc. So that when I am said and done, and I have my warehouse where I could be like, I would like to just build a helicopter, build a chair on it, and just fly through space, I could just do that if I really want to.
A space helicopter.
Flying through time and space, not
Okay.
necessarily going. I'm not following certain Elon of Musking path. I am. You start getting up into space, and then you have to deal with all those problems. No, I'm much more like, let's dig a hole into a mountain so I don't die when the world goes to shit.
Which hopefully will be no time soon.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, so at our last meeting last Tuesday, we're working on a cryptocurrency plank. And I had spent time before that editing it and things like that. And one of the things that I liked that Steve had suggested was we really need to focus on what we are for rather than what we're against. So we're going to rework it to focus more on, the need for peer-to-peer. Napster may have gone away, and I believe we hit our anniversary for Napster recently.
That just came up.
Oh, nice.
But BitTorrent's still going around, and the interplanetary file system and other peer-to-peer sharing stuff are still working. So, and are still being used. So there's need for that technology, and that's where we should focus in saying what we are for rather than, bashing on crypto. So we're not cryptography. Cryptography is great, but cryptocurrencies have issues.
Well, I say
You're muted,
I
Joe.
agree.
one of the things that I've been saying for a couple of weeks now is that, we really should get into the currency game. And, and I may or may not have popular support on this, but I would like to see it based on something tangible, like what the US dollar used to be before the federal thing happened.
When the banks could just go and make as much currency as they wanted?
Exactly. So literally, say, making a dollar, but that dollar equals a certain amount of gold, say like a fraction of an ounce,
There are a handful of organizations. Like, if we wanted to pursue that, I would advocate that we partner with the Time Trade organization.
Yep, heard of them. They're a good organization.
I don't know. We can make fun novelty coins. I got no problem with that.
Yeah, a little Massachusetts pirate coin equaling actually having like silver or copper in it, and it being worth the actual weight of the copper. So that way you don't have to actually melt it down. It's worth that much.
Right.
I see a few issues we might run into with making making coins out of precious metals, but I would say if we tie it to something less concrete, like this coin is worth 1 hour of tech consulting, or like this coin is worth a phone call with Malt, and I would do that. I would get on the phone and holler with people. Either way, yeah, I haven't really been reading much up on the news. I've been very self-absorbed, navel gazing kind of lately. Have you guys ever cleaned your belly buttons?
Yes.
Generally, it's a bit of a process. I have to get the SOS pad, and it's
Yeah,
pretty horrendous. You
like
know,
I did not realize cat hair could accumulate inside of me.
it can.
Yeah, that was. I had to bust out the Ylang Lang body scrub. Like I needed a cool down mojito afterwards.
Yeah, it's when you get that itch down there, and then you itch it, and then you're like, "What's that smell?" And then you realize it's coming from your finger.
Like I didn't eat Chef Boyardee lately. Why am I smelling Chef Boyardee? Because we all of our belly buttons smell like Chef Boyardee, and it's normal, and it's not weird that happens to
Well,
me.
for innies, outies, I think don't have this problem, right?
Okay,
typically
Mr.
not.
Skinny Pants.
Listen, I like my extra Twinkies. Okay, I'm sad when they go away from time to time.
On that note,
Um,
be nice to everyone because the world is going to hell. There are weapons on drones now, so watch your ass the next time you're at a park.
can we go back to the currency thing though, real quick before we say goodbye?
I have to poop
Sure.
very badly.
Okay, maybe
So why don't
next
we?
week.
I'll wrap up then. Just want to mention that we have one of our democracy meetings, which is what we call our tech meeting next Saturday at 11 o'clock, and I'll put a link in that there. And I'll also throw out, if you want to go try your hand at editing our crypto plank, by all means. Thankfully, everything is logged, so if you destroy it, it's easy enough to get back. But we're always interested in new ideas. So thank you very much. Thank you, Malt. Thank you, Joe, and thank you for watching and listening to us. We hope you find this helpful. Please check the links below if you want to find out more. We always try to link to the articles that we mention or websites that we mention. And please do like, subscribe, and click that bell. But most importantly, check out masspirates.org and find out more about us. And there's a way to easily on the sidebar of how you can join our mailing list. So folks, take care. Thank you very much. Stay safe. Adios.